These are fighting words.
People don't like to talk about it.
She's not going to like that.
People don't like to talk about it.
Like
well,
treat
therapy. Still chilly.
Freezing, but I still wear what I do.
Spring in Utah.
So David and I, just to remind you, we are brother and sister, not married.
No,
he would be a lucky fool. I love to joke because that's so gross.
You would be very lucky.
No, you would be the luckier one, but whatever.
But I can tell you this. We came from different households.
So he's the oldest.
16 years.
And then I'm the baby, yeah.
16 years. You know what's funny?
A long time.
You don't even remember things because by the time you came along in the late 80s, Dad had gotten, some marginal success in life. When I was a kid, I remember 1978 when Mom was pregnant with Emily. We were living in this little dank apartment in Chicago while Dad was always gone, and we ate macaroni and cheese. We had macaroni and cheese so much. To this day, I cannot eat Kraft macaroni and cheese. I can't do it.
Okay, but you can't say that Mom didn't meal plan and do all that. She started that when you were born.
She tried, but I can tell you right now, there were some times in there where there was no money for a meal plan. That's a fact. That's a fact, and that's what
these are fighting words.
People don't like to talk about it.
She's not gonna like that.
People don't like to talk about it.
Like
well,
that.
she still tried, and she made Sunday dinner and everything else. But I'm telling you what, there was a time when there was no money.
Yeah,
there was no money. I mean, we were impoverished at that time. Living on love, man.
I think that's just always how it is, right? The oldest has to see the struggles, and then the baby.
Well, I think that's
the
good,
baby
though.
gets the benefit.
But I think it's good to understand, and it's good to acknowledge that people start out when they're younger, they don't have as much.
Yeah.
And they're working through it. And,
Yeah.
that's one of the things in society today that, kids want everything right now.
I know.
Right now.
Well, I'm not.
I'm a
I don't
grandpa.
have much patience.
I'm a grandpa.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes people in their 20s look at people my age or even older and go, well, why don't I have exactly what you have?
I know.
Not me particularly, but whatever. You know that.
Even still to this day, it's like our mom and dads are working.
Yes.
And it's because we've never just been able to quit and just stop.
It's
like Dad's 77 and we're still working.
He's 77
every single day.
And he's still going to work Monday through Friday.
And risking it with business.
And risking it and all the things.
And
it's like, that didn't happen.
No.
A short time ago, man, you did 30 years somewhere. They gave you a gold watch and you went on a cruise.
It's true.
That's not the way it is anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not just Dad and Mom. It's a lot of people that are still working.
Well, I know. I'm just saying about us. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
But you know what I will say is I think it's good. It's keeping them a little bit young. You know what I mean?
Well, they say that because
I believe it.
There's a lot of people I know that have retired and like 2 weeks later, they're dead.
Okay.
It happens. But, I think...
But you know what? She was meal planning the whole time for me. Anyway.
Well, she was meal planning.
That's all I know.
I'm not saying she wasn't meal planning.
We had the theme nights every night.
I remember all of that.
Did you have the thing up on the fridge where it would give you the 2 weeks?
I knew what was for dinner when I was in middle school and high school. I knew what was in dinner. But I'm telling you right now.
Were you thinking about it at school?
Yeah, for sure.
No, I always was.
We all had our favorites.
That's going to be the chicken
We all had our favorites, right? Chicken and rice, loved that. I mean, pizza night, I loved.
Pizza
I died
night was
over
the
it.
best.
I mean, Friday came around.
She said pizza night started with you.
Yeah, it did. And I made pizza when I was 14. I started making it when I was 14.
Why did pizza start with you? You wanted to celebrate or something,
yeah,
she said?
Well, celebrate, get through the week, man. Just get to Friday.
We got to Friday.
That's time to celebrate.
Friday, as David now.
Friday. Friday. It is. It's nice. It's nice to get to
But
Friday.
I've heard my whole life, David's the reason we had pizza night.
Well,
it's because David wanted to celebrate.
I don't know that I'm willing to take that kind of credit.
Well, she did.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway, well, okay, so what else? I mean, there's so many differences.
Well, economically it was different, but I'll tell you how else it was different. Mom and Dad were on me like white on rice, man.
Oh, like they weren't
They were
with me.
on me.
Oh.
No. You were a baby, and you did not get the same disciplinary action that I got. You did not get it.
Oh,
I was in trouble
okay,
nonstop.
I was in trouble too.
Whatever.
No, I was constantly. People love to be like, "Did you know that your daughter?" Blah blah blah, and they made up the stupid.
All I got to say is, it's a big, big difference. And you know what? It's funny how parents evolve. Parents do evolve. They do. When they're younger, they tend to be more strict
David,
and on top of
can I
things.
just be honest for a second? I'm going to be 36 years old, and I have a 14-year-old. I feel like I'm a child raising
But you are.
a child. I'm like, we're like going through life together. I'm like, I'm trying to
Well, you're
figure
sharing
out
outfits. You share outfits together.
Yeah, we share clothes. But I'm just like, I'm still figuring out life. It's like, I don't
We're
even have it
all trying to
figured
figure out life. I'm a grandpa. Look, you know, I think about my grandpa, Mom's dad, Arden. The guy was a World War II vet. I looked at him like he could conquer mountains, man. I mean, I looked at the guy like he was bigger than life, because he was. And now I got to be a grandpa? I got to be that to somebody else?
Like,
That's a lot of pressure. I am a child. I'm still 18 years old. I'll never be that. Anything other than that. I think one thing is important to note. Parenthood is an evolution, right? You're going to be different in your 20s than you are in your 50s or 60s. And I'm telling you, that's okay. And people need to understand that.
Yeah.
They're going to grow and they're going to make mistakes and they're going to do damage to their kids. That's what parents do.
I know.
We all do it. And we all have to forgive and we all have to move on and we have to be kind and we have to show grace. But being a parent is not easy. But I got to tell you, I'll tell you what I love. I love being a grandpa. Because those little guys, when they look at you and they call you grandpa, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I do love that.
That's sweet. I love that.
That is far different than being a parent.
Look, and you know what? I've always said I won't go down as the best mom. I already know it. I already know.
Nobody will.
But you know what I do try to do? It's like, I'm like, I hope, I don't want to get emotional, but I'm like, I hope they remember the moments that we truly have had in the kitchen together. And that's kind of why I've always put the emphasis of like, okay, it's the smells coming from the kitchen. It's the feeling. Those are the things
They'll remember
that
the
kids
feelings.
will remember.
They do remember the
and
feelings.
I feel like that's what I took most from my childhood is I remembered the feeling when I walked through the door coming home from school and I would smell the yummy bread and the cookies and constantly I was just like, I felt love. No matter what, I felt this warm feeling and I felt love.
There is nothing like walking through the door and smelling fresh bread coming out of the oven.
There's not.
And we had that.
did.
Mom did that all the way through, and God bless her for that.
I feel like that is why I've wanted to make that. I will be that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to be perfect, and they're not going to love everything that I did or disciplined or whatever.
No, and nobody.
But
That's true of everyone.
Yeah. But I have worked so hard at creating what my mom had done, did for me.
And I think you've done a very good job at that.
I want
really
them to remember the kitchen and the moments that we had together, because I know they will.
You remember not so much what was said, you remember how you felt.
How you felt.
And
exactly.
and those olfactory, when we hit something with your smell, it brings you back.
And honestly, I don't know if there's memories that last more. Like, traveling is great and you create
Traveling's the only thing that you buy that makes you richer.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm saying, besides that, honestly, the most important is the memories you're making with that. Because when they're older and you're gone and they're making that chicken pot pie or they're making that carrot cake,
they'll be talking about
they're
you.
going to be thinking about me and crying and thinking like, this was mom. And like the kitchen art that I have that will be passed down for generations.
Your
They're going to be like,
great-grandkids will have it.
my grandma had this. And I'm like, I've got great-grandma's butter mold in there. And I
know.
cry every time.
And you should.
I feel like I'm connected with her, and I'm like, my great-grandma's here. I didn't even know her.
But you know what I like about that, Lizzie? Is
I feel like I'm going to cry.
You have reverence for it. You actually, that's why you're worthy of this, because you have reverence for it. You've got great-grandma's butter dish, but you know what? You understand what that means. That connects you to her. That's a big deal.
And I really do feel like she's there with me. Like, there's been many moments of different experiences like that with even another grandma when I make that recipe. I don't know. I connect feeling and all of it with food.
Getting around that family dinner table is big.
David,
huge.
I have said it a million times. I feel like that's the reason all of us siblings are close. Because when you're so busy and you're all going in different directions every day, it's the most natural setting for everybody to gather without being forced. It's like everybody wants to eat. So it's like, it's just the most natural. My mom used to go through a line and it used to be like, okay, you go da-da-da-da-da. I now do that with my kids. We all sit at the dinner table and we go through each one, and you have to make sure that you're really looking at them in the eyes.
Yeah.
And you're making this intent of like
drawing it out.
I'm giving
Drawing it
you my full attention. I want to hear
In the
about
moment.
your day.
The
in
phone's
the moment.
down.
Right.
Phone's
it's down.
down.
Anyway, it was really crazy. I will never forget my daughter. We were sitting there. And she all of a sudden opened up about the craziest day at school. And she had just learned a lot of things, right? That
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared about.
Sure.
And I didn't think, she was already learning that at school type of thing. And
Well, they're learning
I
a lot at
know
school.
for a fact, if we wouldn't have been sitting at that table, and if I wouldn't have been giving her that opportunity of like not forced, it was
Organic.
there.
It was organic.
It was organic. Yes, organic. That she opened up to me and was like, actually, I need to tell you this. Like, I learned this and this and this and this. And it was one of those like profound moments of like, this is why I do this.
And this is why.
This is why you continually do this on the daily.
It's got to be religiously
got
done.
to be done.
It's
Yes.
so important to these kids, these young kids in particular, who can sit down at the dinner table and actually purge.
And it's a reason for the kids to come home. A lot of kids don't want to come home after school. They'd rather go eat any fast food, go be with their friends. It's like there has to be
that's good
a
sometimes.
reason to come home.
If you bake it, they will come.
Guess what?
That's what we've
They're-
seen.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
That is what we've
Keep
seen.
cooking, your family's worth it, as I always say too.
It is, and that's gold.
Yeah, that's gold. Okay, I've had enough.
Have a good one.
Well, yeah, love you, bye.
Love you.